diving. Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us. And remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
Howdy. Howdy. So, on the days that I can't use trudging, like Trudging Tuesday or Sober Saturday, I'm just going to say whatever Amber says as she comes in. Today it was howdy. She usually changes it. So I'm going to start using those. Why not? I know I'm kind of late. I had Take 12 radio today. And then I got to sit down with, his name's Mike Tyson. No, not the Mike Tyson you're thinking of. From National Peer Alliance. We had a great talk, man. Really, really good talk. I like that guy. Yeah. And so what we're doing is he has a way to get done what we kind of need to get done, but it's going to be an actual training program. So we're looking at a new training program. That and don't really tell anybody yet, because I'm not going to quite spread it out yet. Okay. But I will be the contact for the National Peer Recovery Academy here in Colorado. They want to use my resources. So let me know about your resources. Hi, Amber. Hi, Angel. Good to see you both. Yeah. I got to say it. Broncos kicking ass. I got to say something. Gosh, it's good to be the number one team in the NFL. In a minute. I was not expecting that this year. I'm an alcoholic, so I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. All right. That's all I'm going to say on that. Not everybody that listens to me is even watches football. So thanks for letting me do that. I got to fix my camera here real quick. Been a while since I've done that. It's because I moved out of screen for a second. All right. So I know. All right. Well, we know what time it is. What time is it? It keeps giving me the same ones. All right. It gave me some. So these are repeats, but I like them. All right. I'm reading a book about anti-gravity. It's impossible to put down. When does a joke become a dad joke? When the punchline becomes apparent. What do you call a bear with no teeth? A gummy bear. A gummy. This is the German version. We have gummy bears. They have gummy. They're different. Why did the computer go to bed? It needed to crash. We're going to do one more. It's so stupid, it's funny. What's brown and sticky? A stick. Come on, laugh track. All right. All right. I hope everybody had a good weekend. What the hell is going on here? All right. Whoa, that was weird. Sorry about that. I apologize. I clearly pressed the wrong button. All right. Today, I do not have a reading. I don't have a reading today. This one's just going to be a free fall. We'll see how it turns out. Not that I don't have something to read from. I went to Chat GPT and said, what exactly did I say to it? I said, do me a solid and go find all the reasons we would get meaner from healing. All right. Says, absolutely. Here's a full, honest list of why people get meaner as they heal. And I'm giving it to you in your tone, real, direct, and recovery center. Well, no shit, huh? I'll do that anyway. No matter how it gives it to me, I'm still going to be that way. These aren't Google buzzwords. These are actual psychological, emotional, and spiritual reasons. All right. So we will start to get through them. Now, I used to be nice. Now I am kind. All right. We'll cover that. Angel says, I am mean and I am glad I tolerate no BS. It's kind of what it comes down to. Now, it isn't that we're mean, but it kind of comes across that way a little bit. It might. Depends on how the other person takes it. But in this sense, we're going to put mean in quotation marks, right? Because you're not running around being a mean person. I mean, it's not what we're doing. But there are going to be some people in your life that don't appreciate your healing. And that's kind of what we're talking about. All right. Before, maybe you would take crap from somebody a little bit more, but now I gotta say something here real quick. So I don't know, and do go listen to tape 12. It's just this guy kind of threw me off. We weren't recording yet, and he said, "I have something for all of you." And what he said to me, and this guy does not know me, but he said, "Don't feel like you need to have everything in like a materialistic kind of a way." And I'm gonna tell you now, I kind of tuned it out after that because I don't go for solicited advice. I have no money. I haven't had one. So he missed the mark on that one. That's what happens when you give unsolicited advice when you don't know the person. I'm not going to say that. I just wanted to 10th step it because I'm not. I don't want everything. No, I don't work that way. Maybe it's because he sees a bunch of stuff in the back there. I don't know. But I've never been materialistic. I'll throw shit away before I keep it. I'm that kind of person. I like to have what I need, but I also like to live minimally. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. That was my wine. If you're here, please say hello, whether watching the live or the rewatch. Got a lot of rewatchers. Angel says that when they think they know you based on hearsay and the past. Yeah, it could be that too. Or even rumor. Right? There's a lot of people in Colorado that don't like me that have never met me. All right. I'm going to tell you how much I care. None. Noonie. I really don't care. I do care what people think of me. Sure, I do. Some people, but not all people. Very few people, but I do care. Sure, I do. Care what my kids think. I care what my friends think. My wife thinks. Absolutely, I do. All right, let's go ahead and get started on this. All right. So, why the healed version of you gets meaner It's not, and I'm going to tell you something. It is not meanness. It is alignment. You are finding your balance. You are, dude, what do you want? Okay, come here. Come here. Come here. He can come up. He's a lap cat. He'll just sit in my lap. So this is Bastion. He's the pretty cat. I'm the pretty cat. I'm also a bully. I'm also a jerk. Yes, you are. You're a bully. Cutest bully I met. Sawyer, you get your love at 5. All right. So the first thing that kind of happens why people might think that you're a mean is because you stop people pleasing. Yeah. I just did this a couple days ago and they did not appreciate what I said. I said, I'm not here to appease your feelings anymore. I'm not. I'm not here to appease anybody's feelings. And that's a hard one for me because I have this savior complex. I have a people, it's not extreme, but I do have, so it's not really a complex, but I do have a people pleasing problem. That'd be a PPP problem. 3 P's, right? People pleasing problem. Right? If I keep everyone around, if everyone's happy, I stay safe. I don't even like it when people leave the AA meetings and they're not doing better. That even drives me a little crazy. It does. Because I want everybody to be happy. Because when everybody is happy, Dion feels secure. Yeah, it's their survival skill. An old behavior. I crack jokes here all the time. I try, man, and then sometimes I have to get into a group conscious. We got to confront people or do this. Man, shit tears me up. I do it, but yeah, but it took a little while, right? Because the thing is that people are upset. Then, if they're upset, they're going to abandon me. That's where my people pleasing comes from. Abandonment issues. But why shouldn't I think that way? Everybody in my life abandoned me. Huh. Okay. Up to a certain point. Doesn't seem to happen as much anymore. Now that I'm not running people off with my people pleasing. If I don't speak up, I won't cause conflict. Yeah. You don't have anything nice to say. Now, that last one, yeah, that wasn't me. I couldn't keep my mouth shut. Are you kidding? You think it's hard for me to keep my mouth shut now when I'm drinking? There's no, nope. I don't know how to shut my mouth when I'm drinking. So what does that really have to do with, though? It has to do with self-worth. You're finding out what your worth is. See, all my life, people, not all, I keep forgetting I'm 55 and it's not all my life. But for a good chunk of my life, people called me, especially growing up, stupid, crazy. I got called all sorts of names, things that weren't true. And this was driven into me. I'm going to tell you, I did not get very good grades. Okay. A D plus was acceptable to me. It means I was passing. Now, it wasn't because, well, part of it was my dyslexia. Math, I just failed at. English, though, yeah. I was actually printed in our high school newspaper. My mom did not like that one at all. I'd lied a little bit. I only lied about one thing, that she pushed me down the stairs. Everything else was true. All right. But it was a lie. Go ahead and admit it now. In case you read that back in 1988, the Heritage High School, I doubt anybody you know what? Nobody even talked to me about it. Not one person in the school came up to me and said anything to me about it. So I doubt anybody even gave a fuck. Oh, it's that Dion guy again. He's crazy. Guy's crazy, man. All right. So what I do? Well, I became it. They called me a criminal. They called me a lot of things. They called me alcoholic. So when I went from living in white suburbia, in the comfort of white suburbia, to being in group homes with Crips and Bloods, and it was a culture shock. and I learned how to become a better criminal. I learned, right? Because so the best were there. Well, not actually the best, because the best don't get caught. For me, sometimes I was trying not to get caught, but for the most part, what were you going to do to me? Okay. Like Arapaho shelter, they didn't even have screens on the fucking windows. That because there just wasn't much money. We didn't even have an oven. We microwaved everything. Right. I left there all the time. I'd leave for 2, 3 hours in the middle of the night, go hang out, drink, hit on the girls that I met at the Cinderella Mall, Cinderella City earlier that day. All right. Anyway, I'm digressing into old, right? So let me ask you this: can you say no without feeling guilty anymore? Can you? I can for the most part, not all of it. Not all of it. There's some things I still feel kind of guilty about saying no to. But for the most part, no. I don't live with guilt. All right. See what I did is I went to therapy. I went and got some friends who actually are interested in what happens to me, things like that. And I started to figure out my worth. And I can take a look at my worth and stuff. Like I've got one Instagram reel. It's got like 537 views. And something's going on. I'm helping people. I know my worth. I'm going to tell you what it is. I am another human being in this crazy, crazy world, just trying to help other people out. It's all I am. I'm not anything huge. I want to be. In fact, I was just talking to this guy, Mike, about it, right? He had it, he's like, ever since I got into this field, I've always been, he said, I've always been the executive, or I've been this and I've been that. But what I haven't been is just a peer coach. And that's what I want to do. So he took a demotion and became a peer coach. I love that. I love it. What he said was, I just want to be another person in a working system. That's it. He doesn't need anything else, right? All right. What else? What else leads to this alignment, right? Because we're only saying mean because so that other people understand, but really we are aligning. But what are we aligning with? We're aligning with our true selves and our higher power, right? So what's the next one? Boundaries. You knew boundaries were going to come up. Boundaries had to come up in this, right? Now, when you're unhealed, boundaries are suggestions, right? Oh, I recommend you don't do that, or blah, 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 right? When you're healed, boundaries are non negotiable. You will not step back this point, or I'm gone. Yeah, it's kind of an ultimatum, right? Now, this doesn't mean we get to be a jerk about it, though. How this boundary is represented is what matters. Okay. So this is what I would recommend. You already started with some boundaries. What's your number one boundary? You don't drink alcohol. That is your number one internal boundary. What's another boundary for you? Okay. Because these are healthy boundaries. You don't want strong boundaries, because strong boundaries are not flexible. You want healthy boundaries. And that starts from within. Here's the key. You better start treating yourself good. You better start being kind to yourself. If you're still calling yourself names, you don't have a healthy boundary. If you're still saying, "Oh, Dion, you're stupid. Dion, you're this," then you're still caught up in the same bullshit, man. No, you're gonna have to go find out some hard facts about yourself. You're gonna have to digest some unpalatable truths, man. Yeah. Sometimes it's just gonna be like, man, I'm glad I'm not that person anymore. because I'm certainly capable of going back to it. But I don't want it. And what is that? That is a healthy boundary. Here's another healthy boundary. I'm not allowed to hurt God's children. That is a healthy boundary. All right. Now, hurting God's children means this, that I'm judging them, that I'm going out of my way to make their life tough. What is not? Well, if I see somebody committing fraud in the industry, I report. No, that is not. Mm-mm. It's it's a it's what I would call a red thin line, right? And people who benefited from your lack of boundaries will absolutely call you mean, right? Those people that used to be able to suck the life force out of you, or every time they have a problem, they just call you, um, right? That you were being nice and they took advantage of it. So you stopped being nice. You stopped being available for the abuse. And they'll just know too, because you will act a little differently towards them. Maybe you won't say anything. Maybe you're like, yeah, okay. But most of this is just allowing me to be at peace no matter what's going on. Right? You don't have to. This is the other part. Okay. Oh, you're gonna like this one. Oh man, you're gonna like this one. You stopped explaining yourself to everyone. I was so proud of my wife yesterday. She was doing that. She's like, I don't need to tell you all that. Yeah, good job. Yeah. She doesn't have to over explain because she understands that no matter what, I love her. She would have to do something really, really, really bad for me not to love her anymore. I can't think of anything because I've done so many bad things. There's no way she's not even capable of that, right? So what happens? The unhealed you over explains, justifies, right? Now, when I was when I was talking to her, it was a compliment. I gave her a compliment. Well, I did that because of this. She goes, I don't have to explain that. I just have to say thank you. Yes. Yes. That's it. Can you take a compliment? That's the question here. Can you take a compliment? All right. Just like when I was growing up, all right, this they really drove this into me and when we played soccer, that being a being a horrible loser is worse than being a horrible winner. All right. Why? Because when you're a horrible loser, you don't learn anything from. That's why. That makes it even worse. Now it really sucked because when I lived in Utah, I was on the because I was good. So I was on the best soccer team. I got here, they didn't know. Yeah, man. All right. Right? What else does the unhealed do? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. Even for stuff you don't need to be sorry for. Overly sorry. Sorry, I'm like, you only need to say it once. After that, it sounds like begging. And I used to be, man, I was supposed to, then how many times do you need forgiveness, Dion? I already forget. I forgave you 10 minutes ago. What's wrong? Well, I'm so stuck on it. Right? So the healed you, no, becomes a full and valid answer. It is, especially this time of the year. Okay. If you're still kind of new and shaky and you're going through the holidays, if you feel like what's best for you is that you go to your meetings, come straight home and be a hermit there and call people away. If that's what's going to keep your sobriety, yeah, man, do it. No is a full and legitimate answer. Amber says, hopefully getting my doors on Wednesday. Thank God, because I have been looking out. for some doors for you everywhere I go. Then she says God might even deliver them to the office for me. Well, that'd be nice of God, right? The healed you also says, I can't. We start to understand our limitations because the unhealed me thinks it has all the answers, but it does not. I don't have all the answers now. Why do you think I get in touch with people like Mike, the guy from National? Because he clearly knows something I don't. He is having a success I do not have. So I asked him to help me with it. And he's going to be on the podcast. Oh, speaking of which, Amber, next week on the 6th, on Tuesday, we're doing that other podcast. And tomorrow, we're starting God Centered Recovery with Roger McDermott. You guys are going to love Roger. You are going to like him. Okay. It'll be at noon tomorrow. We had to do it a little bit later. But every other Tuesday, what we are doing is we are taking the apostles, which I know nothing of. Okay. I'm a big book thumper. He's a Bible thumper and a big book thumper. Right. So what's happening is he's giving me one of the apostles, and I'm going to turn that into a recovery topic for us. And we're all going to learn. I'm really excited. Probably more excited than I need. I just think people are going to be really interested in it. And everybody's taking God out of recovery, man. And it makes me nervous. And once again, I'm not saying I'm completely right, but I will tell you, in my opinion only, recovery without a higher power feels incomplete to me. Okay. To me. Doesn't feel that way for everybody. Doesn't have to. All right. What's another one healed you says? That does not work for me. No. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work for me. But you can always follow that up with, because if it's something you want, you know, what you're not doing anymore is you're not appeasing people. I'll give you a great example. Newcomer comes into the room. My life is horrible. My life is horrible. My wife's about to leave. I lost my job. I got a DUI. My granddaughter came up to me and said, Grandpa, why are you always like this? There's something. Now, the old unhealed me would join in on that because misery loves company. Oh, you're right. That does suck. My wife left me too. And see, now I'm already getting into this. And what is this? Appeasement. And I pat him on the head like a good little puppy. Oh, just gonna be okay. It's okay. Yes, you are. That's how I talk to my cats. Okay. The healed you will do this. You're right. Your life's in shambles. It is. That's pretty bad, dude. Yeah. I gotta tell you something. If you found me, I'm the last I'm the last house on the block. I say this often because it's true. If God has led you to me, you need me. And I don't say that egotistically. I say that as faith from a higher power who's not led me wrong. Yeah. But you'll say, you're correct. Your life is in shambles. But here's the difference. This person has a solution where the unhealed person did not. Now, it sounds kind of mean. I'm going to tell you another line. It's going to sound mean. Oh, it's just so mean. But actually, it's the kindest thing that you could do. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. But you can shove his head in there and make him wish he did. Yes. That is the process where we take somebody's bottom and we raise it to meet them. That's what that means. And it's done out of love. It's done out of the language of the heart. It sounds rough, but if you're a nice person, you ain't going to get it. If you're unhealed, you're just going to think it's mean because it probably needs to happen to you. Now, when I was 18 years old and I ended up on Skid Row and I go into a halfway house for homeless alcoholics, and the guy running it there becomes my sponsor, is the one that told me that. Okay. I never met a rougher, kinder person in my life. Yeah. And I wanted to be like him. Absolutely, I did. Another one. Oh, this is a good one. You're like this. You stop being a therapist to everybody. You stop handing out advice because you don't need to anymore because you become a good example. Right now, where's the example of that? Now, I had 10 years sobriety, right? And I was drinking alcohol counselor. I used to sit on the bar stools and get people sober. It worked. I would tell them, go. I'm like, I'm drunk as hell. I know, but if you really want to quit, dude, you need to get your butt to AA. Yeah, yeah. See, all that those are all indications of alcoholism. Another beer, please. Now, as being a therapist in this sense, and I'm gonna put therapist in quotations on this one because I was I was doling out advice I couldn't follow through on. That that's what we're actually talking about here. Okay, I'm an unlicensed therapist who thinks he's a therapist. You're going to see it a lot with people that have not done the work or 2 or 3 years sober. They're out there thinking that, oh, look at me. Yeah. Anyway, we're not getting into that today. All right. So you get healthier when you recognize emotional dumping. That person that just always has a problem. And it's usually the same problem. Right. Yeah. You probably, if you go to like a lot of different local meetings, you'll see one person and what they do is they hop from meeting to meeting looking for a place to live. Then they finally do end up with a place to live, and then that place is just horrible again. These people are horrible, and it happens 4 or 5 times, and the same thing continues to happen. It's a horrible place. Well, we've deduced it down. It's that person, right? All right. Energy leeches, chronic chaos, users, and manipulators. Now, you'll be able to recognize these people because what did I just describe? Well, I just described Dion when he's not healed. Okay. And what you do is you stop giving them unlimited emotional labor. You stop doing that. You're like, no, no, I'm sorry, that doesn't work for me. See, no. What I would recommend is that you go find a therapist. That's when that stuff will start. I had to go get outside help. You're going to use your experience. I had to get my own outside help. And, I found a therapist was really good for that. I can help you find a therapist if you want. Let them pay somebody to do that. That's not your job. You don't need to listen to hours and hours of droning. Okay. I do not need to know your whole life story in order to help you as an alcoholic. I'm not going to sit there and go back and forth with war stories on who was the better or worse alcoholic. No, we're not going to do that anymore. And they call that mean, but actually, that is self preservation. You don't need to be hanging out with bad juju all the time. Okay. Now, some people that are like for me, I was what they call they call it chronic chaos people, right? When my PTSD hit, I was that person. Now, what if I had dumped it out on all these? What I needed was therapy. That's what I needed. Okay. But so let's keep in mind that a lot of those people have mental illnesses that are beyond you and me. Now, we may have experienced it because we have the same mental illness, but let's remember when it comes to recovery, experience and education together is what really helps this person. And one person might have both, but in this case, I don't understand all the different, you know, I haven't read the DSM on PTSD and anxiety. I didn't pay $50,000 for somebody to, you know what I mean? So let's put that in the hands of people that are a little bit more capable than us. Okay. Now here's the fun one. Your standards get higher. We're not talking a perfectionist standard, okay? But my standards definitely went up. And you hear me talk about this all the time, okay? I do not hang my hat anywhere. Just because there's a coat rack doesn't mean I'm hanging up my coat. All right. All right. Now, nowadays, I mean, I could sit here and count several people where if I wrote, and it's been a while, is it? All right. Lori comes on here every now and again. Lori's awesome. I love Lori. I know she doesn't mind if I say her name. All right. But sometimes I put something on YouTube or on Facebook, and she called me. She'd be like, okay, Dion, why'd you put that up? What's going on? Yeah. Yeah. We should probably go ahead and take that down, huh? Yeah. That's not your lane because it wasn't my lane. And she knew that. But she didn't call and say, Dion, you're stupid. No. Hey, Dion, I love you. So I'm calling and confronting you. I love it when people do that. I love it when it comes to the podcast and I ask somebody and they're like, I'm not sure. No, I don't think I want to do that. I tell you right, I get excited when I hear that because most people just kind of, yeah, they want to be willing, but they're really not. But they don't want me to think that they're unwilling. When really, if you tell me you will and then you put me off and don't contact me, yeah, then now I just think you're a liar. All right. So the thing is, it's not perfection again, but you stop tolerating some things. Inconsistency. Right? No call, no shows when you're sponsoring somebody. I'm not, Angel, I haven't answered you yet because I'm figuring out time in my head. I should be able to, though. Because I can clean the cat box and take care of the cats while I'm talking to you, so no problem. Right. What else do we know? Do we no longer tolerate? Disrespect. Yeah. Now, when I say we won't tolerate, these are the things where we'll be like, whoa, 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 whoa. Fuck off. Which is probably kind of a mean way to, but sometimes it's a full sentence. Broken promises, half truths, weaponized guilt, emotional freeloading. But I'm going to tell you right now, one of the hardest things is going to be that you're going to see everybody else doing what they're doing, what you used to do, and it's going to bother you that they're getting away with it. It's going to bother you. The other thing you're not going to be able to stand, fake people. Now, I'm not talking about the newcomers coming in, but people that are just blatantly fake. Like, hopefully it doesn't happen this year. And I think it was partly me too. But like going to the family's house and acting like we have to get along drives me nuts because everybody's so fake about how are you doing? You don't care how I'm doing. I don't hear from you for 364 days. You don't care how I'm doing. They never ask about kids. They don't ask about what I do for work, what's going on, because they don't care. That's okay. But let's not sit around and act like we do then. I'd rather just, hey, if we don't care, then we don't care. It's all right. I'd rather have that. But not everybody wants that, right? So, all right, we got to kind of wrap this up, right? You remove yourself from dysfunction instead of arguing, debating, convincing, or proving. You just leave. That'd be me. Peace. No, I'll leave. I have no qualms about that. Am I going to feel guilty? I might, but it ain't going to be for very long, maybe a couple minutes. If I love you, it'll be a couple minutes. If I don't, I probably won't have any guilt at all. And I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm protecting myself. Okay. I've already had an arduous life. I don't need more. And I certainly don't need to create more. Okay. This half of my life is going to be spent happy, joyous, and free. That's how I'm going to do it. You finally stop self-betrayal, saying yes when every part of you screams no, staying quiet when you need to speak, carrying guilt that wasn't yours, and allowing treatment you didn't deserve. When you stop betraying yourself, people who benefited from the old you get offended. It's happened to me often. Now, these people just want to find the bad in everything. You're probably the scapegoat in that story. And that's not going to change unless they go heal. Otherwise, they're going to need a scapegoat in order to survive. Not your problem. Not your problem. Okay? You become a lot more direct. Man, dude, we're only about halfway through this, just so you know. So I'm just gonna do a few more here. So you become direct, right? Like healed communication sounds like that, like this. That hurt me. This isn't acceptable. I won't participate in that. Directness feels aggressive to people who understand you when you were soft. Okay. So, what has happened? Well, you've gone from a passive aggressive personality to an assertive personality. And people that are assertive get called aggressive a lot. They get called angry a lot when actually we're not angry. You just want us to be angry so that you have something to point out. We're not doing it anymore. It is not my job to save you. Right? If I had a magic wand to heal people from whatever they're going through, yeah, I'd heal everybody, and then nobody would get any benefits from going through it to find joy. I would be taking away your happiness by doing that. By giving you everything that you wanted, I would take away your happiness because now you have everything you want and you have nothing left to strive for. What's the point in living? What's the point? All right. You stop carrying other people's consequences. We don't need to rescue them. We don't need to fix them. We don't need to okay. Now I'm going to tell you this is with most people with some of these things with my wife. Fuck off. I will do what I want. If she needs rescued, I'm going to do it. All right. Anyway, rescued, fixed, absorbing the blame, softening the blows. Okay. When this happens, and you were taught this, if you were a scapegoat, you were taught to take the blame. It was your job, and you got really good at it. And then it became a part of your personality. It's going to be a hard part to let go of. Okay. You don't fear losing people anymore. That's what I hit about 3 months ago. I don't have a fear of abandonment anymore. It's gone. I am not scared of anybody abandoning me anymore. And because I let go of that fear, I became a better friend. Because now I don't appease. Because I'm not scared that they're going to leave me. And even if they are, then that's what God wanted. Huh. So you enforce boundaries, you walk away, you refuse to chase. Yeah, I don't chase ever. You prioritize peace, right? This was a rule with my wife and I. If we'd argue, and we don't argue very often. This is during my drinking, we did. But since I got sober, we just don't argue that much. We bicker a lot, but we don't argue. All right. But the thing was, because a lot of times she would walk away or I would walk away. But the rule was this: if you're walking away, you have to say, I need to walk away. I just need 20, 30 minutes. I'll be right back. It's not fair to leave people up in the air. All right. So let's work on that. Right. So what are you going to get out of this? Okay, you're going to discover your peace and you need to protect it like hell. What else are you going to get? You're going to have better sleep. mental health, quiet, right? You need simple routines, grounded energy, and stability. You don't invite chaos anymore. You stop engaging in the drama, the dramatic call, you mean, right? So empathy gets sharper, not softer. Okay. Healed empathy knows who is wounded, who is manipulating, who is unsafe, who is capable, who is unwilling. It's called discernment, but we call it intuition. So listen to your intuition. All right. I'm going to wrap it up there. 45 minutes. I'd probably go an hour. I got to get some other stuff done. All right. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Is there a good place to get finished right? So, you know what? Let's just go over these real quick. There's a couple more. Your empathy gets sharper. You stop accepting the bare minimum relationships. You didn't get mean. You just started matching energy. Okay. Your relationships become reciprocal. It is no longer one sided. You value yourself more. And then you stop asking permission to exist. You stop shrinking. You stop apologizing. You stop tiptoeing. And you stop dimming your light. So here's the truth. You didn't get mean. You got healthy. And healthy feels mean to people only knew you unhealed. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out.